What would you say is the primary determining factor on whether you are rich or poor? Education? Surely, education makes sense. You go to school, you go to Harvard, you get a good degree, you go work on Wall Street. Okay. Background, parents, you grow up, parents have a country club membership, it's 100K a year. Absolutely. That makes sense. I think you can go down that path and come to that conclusion if you go down that road. Mm, let's say you're just born with money. Grandfather struck oil and it's been in the family ever since. And so you just born into money. Those things gotta equal rich. But I like to challenge that idea. And I challenge it with this thought: education, personal wealth, familial wealth, those aren't the things that make you rich. What would make any person rich, wealthy, have $1 million versus $100,000 is your ability to follow instructions and your willingness to follow instructions. Success is built on an ability and a willingness to follow instruction. Let's say you're a creator, a creative person. You don't work a W 2, you don't clock in or clock out. That's not what you do. You create, whether it's music, whether it's art, there is some level and to some degree inspiration. So even if you're an artist, when you are inspired, like Michelangelo, when you are inspired, you adhere to the blueprint that you've received in your mind. And it is your job, your task to recreate that in a way where other people can experience your thoughts in reality. You are following instructions. The man who's born in wealth or the woman who is born into wealth, that wealth is given to them. And if it is enough wealth, it will sustain them. But as we know, wealth disappears by the third and fourth generation if it is not stewarded well. If you don't take care of the wealth, if you don't grow the wealth, it will dissipate, it will disappear naturally, is the natural progression of things. What makes the person who's born into wealth disappear, and the person who's born into nothing grow their wealth and sustain it? It boils down to a willingness and ability to follow instructions. Everybody has the opportunity to follow instructions. Not all people listen and then apply those instructions. If I want to build a bed, I'll build a bed with the instructions. But let's say I just want to wing it. Not handy, barely use a screwdriver, but I just want to wing it. Now, if I wing it, could I be successful? Absolutely. Would I sleep on that bed? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It really depends on how sturdy it is. But the bed's ability to hold the weight of me is based on following the instructions that came with the bed. So your life's ability to hold the weight of who you are is based on your willingness and your ability to follow the instructions given to you. Those instructions sometimes come from mother. Those instructions sometimes come from a business coach. Those instructions sometimes come from a teacher or a professor. Instructions are all around. But the second component in this is from whom you receive instructions. Most people, And because I'm a man, I'm going to speak about men specifically when I say this. Most men fail at what they're doing. They don't reach their goal because they refuse to follow instructions. They refuse to be led. A lot of reason you see a lot of women in church and not men is because they refuse to be led. Men oftentimes refuse to be led, which is ironic because the key to your success is leadership. And from leadership comes instructions. Now you might look at people and say, hey, well, that person doesn't have a leader, they're successful. That person doesn't have a leader, they're successful. That person didn't have a coach, they're successful. You're looking at it wrong. They did have a leader. You might not have identified that person as a leader, but they did. Everybody has a leader. That leader may have been their mother. There's a coach that I follow that I've been a student of for years. And I asked the question myself because I wondered, this guy doesn't seem to submit really to anybody. And then I remembered a story that he told about his mom owning a business. Now, this guy has amassed tens of millions of dollars in real estate, cars, watches, art. It's just his lane. And I've watched him grow this over the years. But he often talks about how his mom, immigrant status, coming into the United States, trying a business and failing, trying a business and failing, was a launch pad for his success. Now, you might not look at that as coaching, but that is literally what it is. His mother, whether intentionally or unintentionally, coached him out of poverty into success. And so today, if you are experiencing a level of poverty and you want to reach your $1 million mark, your $2 million mark, your $10 million mark, it means one, that you got to be willing and able to follow instructions. And two, you got to submit to leadership. That's if you want to get from $10 to $10,000 and 100,000 to a million and a million to 10 million. It all takes the same sauce. Nothing different. Find you a leader, submit to that individual, and let your life expand.